On First Down, you'll hear interviews with some of the top minds in sports, as well as actionable tips and strategies you can implement into your daily life to become a more effective coach. My name is Justin Tichenel, former college football player turned entrepreneur. Thanks for spending time with me today. Now, let's jump into the content. Today I'm here with Coach Aaron Ocampo. Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Coach Aaron is the head football coach at Centennial High School, which is in New Mexico. So to kick things off, Coach, can you just share with the audience a little bit about your background and how you've gotten involved in your current role?
I've been coaching for 26 years, and I was lucky enough to get a head coaching job pretty early on in my career. I played college football first at a Division II school in New Mexico Highlands. I played there for a year, and then I transferred to University of New Mexico, and I walked on the football team at UNM and ended up playing there and finished off there. And I'm a son of a coach. My dad has three sons, and all three of us were coaching at some point. And I went on to coach with him for a year, and then I went on to coach with another college friend at a 5A job in Albuquerque, Manzano High School, and I coached there for a season. And he left in the summer, right before our season was getting ready to start. So they saw enough in me to name me the interim head coach, and we had a good year that year. So from 2001 to 2011, I was the head coach at Manzano High School in Albuquerque. And we had some good teams there, and went ahead and decided to open up a new school where I'm currently at Centennial High School in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And I've been here since the 2012 season, and we've had some good football teams here over the years too.
Nice. And you talked about transitioning from Division II football to playing in New Mexico State. So how has that playing experience shaped your coaching philosophies over the years?
It shaped it quite a bit. I was at New Mexico Highlands, a D2 school, and the season I was there, we weren't a very good football team. We didn't have a lot of numbers. Some of the guys they had recruited didn't end up panning out, and I actually started there as a true freshman. And like I said, we weren't a very good football team. And I just decided that I wanted a little bit more from college football. So I went to UNM in Albuquerque, and ended up being around some really good coaches there. Dennis Franchione was our head football coach, and I ended up earning a scholarship. I got to play a little bit in my senior season, and we had a really good year my senior year. We were the WAC Mountain Division champions my senior year in 1997. And I really had some good experiences from those coaches that were on our staff. Gary Patterson was our defensive coordinator. Dennis Franchione later went on to be the head coach at A&M in Alabama and at TCU. So there were some real good coaches to learn from, and it really kind of gave me a lot of good examples for what I was going to do, because I kind of knew I was going to coach when I was playing college football.
Yeah. And what position were you as a player?
I was an offensive lineman, so I could play
Oh,
guard,
same.
play center. But I think I may have heard in one of your podcasts, I'm a short guy. I'm a 5'10" guy, and I kind of had to work real hard and be real smart to stay on the field with a lot of the players that we had at UNM.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's funny you said that. I'm like a 5'10", 5'11" guard as well. And, for me, I always wanted to be involved in football, whether it be coaching or whatever. And I kind of had a unique experience where, and I talked about this on the podcast before, getting started with my business, CoachTools, allows me an avenue to stay involved with football, stay up with my passion, and also, you know, have that entrepreneurial side, which is pretty cool. So as a head coach, can you talk about some of the things you've learned over the past 20 years that would maybe serve a young coach well if they're just getting started off?
Gosh, there's so much. I would say, I mean, you want to get into coaching because you love coaching, you love to be around kids, and you love to make a difference in kids' lives. I think that's the biggest thing. But if you love something, you're going to do it, and you're going to work real hard at it. And I would say just soak in whatever you can from any coaches that you're working around. And I think the biggest thing as coaches, sometimes it's really easy if you don't have success, maybe in a game or something you're doing. It's really easy to say, you know what, we weren't good enough or our kids weren't good enough. But I think and I talk to our staff about this a lot, I don't want to make that excuse. I want to say, what can we do better? What things can we do better? And I think the more you look within yourself and how you're coaching and how you're doing something, or the maybe the schemes you're doing, or how you're practicing, the more you can learn from others, the better chance you give your kids to have success on the field. We don't ever want to say, hey, we're just not good enough. That's why we're not achieving what we want. We want to do everything possible. And I think when you do that, you spend a lot of time on the game, you spend a lot of time in your self scout and all those types of things, you get better at coaching the game, and you give your kids more a chance to be successful, because we want them to work really hard, whether it's practices or games, but we've also got to put that into. So I think just the experience of the daily experience of trying to get better as a coach, I think, is the biggest thing, and learn from everyone that you talk to, everyone that you're around.
Yeah. And from personal experience, right when I graduated college, just about 2 years ago, I jumped into a role as a youth coach for my seventh and eighth grade team. And it's actually funny. One of the guys that coached me back in the day, he's still the coach there. And just learning from him and a lot of the philosophies that, he instilled in me as a student, as an athlete, and hearing him teach that to the student athletes. But on the other side of it is a really fulfilling experience, because, you just understand and you have the hindsight and experience to know how that's going to serve you in the future. And as a student athlete, you might not understand that in the moment, but like as I'm sure that's something that's going to serve you in many different avenues in life.
Definitely. I mean, every experience you have is a learning experience, whether it's positive or negative.
Definitely. And I couldn't help but notice right behind you it says brotherhood is everything. Can you talk about is that one of your guys' philosophies? And if so, can you just share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's a big thing that we want to strive for within our team, is a family environment. And I think a lot of teams do that, talk about brotherhood, and we try to do things that are symbolic of brotherhood, and really playing for each other and being selfless, rather than selfish. And I think that's one great thing about football in general, is a very selfless game. But we really try to stress that a lot, and that's one thing that I'm most proud of when I hear our kids talk about their experience in our program, or talk to somebody else, is the thing they enjoy the most is the brotherhood within the team, is having a place where they know it's a family environment and they're taken care of. And yeah, I think the sign says brotherhood is everything. And actually, that's a picture of our very first team and our very first game in 2012. This school's a brand new school, and we came into a town where there was three high schools, and we're the fourth high school. And two of the high schools had played for every state championship in the biggest school division for, like, it was something like 15 or 20 years. Either one of those two schools were in the state championship, and it was kind of crazy to open up a school in this town where it was open enrollment and kids can choose where they're going. But I'm real proud to say that we've had one of the best programs in the state of New Mexico over the years, and we've developed it here. And it was a bunch of guys that didn't have to come to the school, that chose to come to the school, and they were kind of the guys that started the brotherhood of what we want as a football program and how to play for each other. And over the years, we've had a lot of kids want to come here because of the experience that other kids have had in our program. So I think that's something that's really important, is to strive for that family atmosphere you have in your program.
Definitely. And I like to keep these like short and sweet. So any last words, coach, that you want to share with the audience here before we hop off today?
I really can't think of anything. I mean, just love the game, love everything about the game, the physicality of it, but then also, like I just said, the family atmosphere of it. I mean, football is a great game, and all of us that coach, it's such an honor to be a coach, and such an honor to be a part of someone's life and help them grow, and just take that very seriously.
Definitely. And it's, same thing. It's an honor having a chance to talk to all the coaches that I do, because, although I'm not coaching currently, I'm still involved in the game and with CoachTools as well. It really is an honor just being involved in the game. So, appreciate you and everybody else who's been on the podcast. So thank you for that.
All right, thanks for having me.